Alright, here are my top 10 anime that are 13 episodes or less. A lot of us these days have less free time, or like a really long show. Even like a 26 episode show can feel very daunting. So I've made this list for people who, hey, you could theoretically watch this in a sitting, or just a couple sittings. Pretty low commitment, but I think all of these are very, very good shows. I'm not including shows that have multiple seasons. So like, even if like the first season is 13 episodes or less, I'm trying to pick stuff that is relatively like, as of the recording of this video, it's just this. So you don't have to watch it and keep watching more and more and more. Otherwise, other shows would fit the criteria. Also, one show I was like, it's technically 13 episodes or less, but they're like hour long, is Pluto, which I've talked about before. But that's an amazing show. It's like 8 episodes, but they're an hour long, so it's kind of cheating. Number 10 is Death Parade. Death Parade is a show about, basically there's this mysterious bar, and people go there after they die, and they end up wagering their souls in these sort of like games. Yeah, if you like that kind of psychological drama, it's always like a set of new people and you're kind of finding out about what their lives were like before they died, and you know, which people were good or bad or in between. You know, it's just very, you uncover stuff about these new characters each time, and then the main cast of characters in the bar are endearing. It also has one of the most misleading openings of all time, which I love. I mean, there's still like a through line, and there is like a pretty satisfying emotional conclusion, but overall I'd say it's mostly episodic in that each one has a story with a little through line in between, which I do like that approach. But yeah, if you want a show like that with some fun, but interesting psychological drama, check out Death Parade. Number 9 is Golden Boy. Golden Boy is very raunchy. I'm just gonna warn you for people who don't like that kind of thing, but it's beautifully animated and it's extremely funny. And I would recommend the English dub. I mean, I've seen both and they're both great. Something about the dub though is just so earnest and fucking hilarious. Like the reads are so good. It's basically about this guy who goes around basically to different hot ladies doing different jobs, and he's an absolute horn dog goof, but you root for him anyway. Like he's ultimately, I think what makes Golden Boy work is, yes, he's just an absolute horn dog, but he's a good dude at heart. And the show can be heartwarming. It can be, and also extremely funny. One of the funniest anime I think I've seen in a long while. I actually missed out on this when it first came out. I was introduced to this by friends, and wow, it's just great. And again, English dub. Go with English dub. Oh, so good. Number 8 is Paranoia Agent. It's a Satoshi Kon psychological horror anime. I mentioned that in my horror video about a kid who goes around beating people with a bat named Shonen Bat, or Little Slugger. And these detectives are trying to figure out why he's doing that. Really surreal. It's a shame we never got more Satoshi Kon like shows, because man, he did so well with like the TV show format. I recently, or semi-recently, rewatched it for the, I had not seen it in a long time, but I showed my wife and she really liked it. It can get pretty heavy. Warning, there are some, really heavy stuff in there in terms of stuff that might trigger people, so just be warned. Yeah, it's really, really good. Very creepy, very surreal, sometimes very funny. I love that. I love when stuff can, have that balance of like, or just a grab bag of emotions. I love that kind of stuff. Number 7 is Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. Gave this one some love in my video, ones I want a sequel for. Great romantic comedy. A girl confesses to her crush, and he misinterprets it as wanting her autograph, or his autograph, because he's a shoujo mangaka. Hijinks ensue, and a bunch of fun couples. I feel like if you want to get a sense of if you like the show, there's a very funny scene involving a dating sim. I feel like if you think that is funny, you'll enjoy the show. And I love all the characters in it. They're so endearing. It's obviously comedy first, but it does have that little bit of like, oh, you're rooting for them. You're rooting for, especially the main girl. You're like, oh, come on, you can do it. Anyway, the manga is great too. But yeah. Very, very funny show. Number 6 is Pokémon Concierge. Now, this is a stop-motion show. People might go, this is an anime. I'm counting it anyway, because also it's so short. It's 4 episodes, and they're like 20 minutes. And they did announce that there's gonna be more. But as of the recording of this video, there's only 4 episodes. And I mean, if they just made 4 more, it's still gonna be less than 13 episodes. I mean, listen, I love Pokémon Concierge. Like, it is just about this resort, and Pokemon are there, and it's just so sweet. Ugh, animation's beautiful. This is the kind of Pokemon content that I want. I want slice of life, just hanging out with Pokemon. Perfect Pokemon content for me. And then just amazing stop motion animation on top of that. Go watch it right now. Number 5 is Ping Pong. This is a show about like 2 kids who play ping pong. Obviously, one is very reserved, the other one is very, outgoing, and they're sort of like different journeys with the sport. It's got a great cast of characters. It's Yuasa directed, so the animation is amazing. And it's a really emotional show. I really get choked up at the end. It's such a beautiful ending, great character work, great just writing, and it gets you fucking pumped up too. Like, that's the thing about sports anime is, man, it gets you really into the sport if it's executed well. I think the first time I watched it, I liked it, but I feel like on a subsequent rewatch, I like really dug into it. Highly recommend it, especially if you like Yuasa's work and just haven't seen Ping Pong yet. It's great. Number 4 is Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. We're continuing on the Yuasa train. This one is a show about high school, like 3 high school girls who want to make an anime. So they just make a club and they just start figuring out how to make an anime. And it's so engaging and sweet, and like, just watching these girls work hard and just their enthusiasm for all the aspects of anime production. I kind of view it as like a companion piece to Shirobako, which is an anime I love. This is like the girls in it, like they love, it's the passion of discovering this thing, and and then Shirobako is like, all right, you're a little more jaded, but still a great show. But yeah, Eizouken, it's just about the beauty of creating art. Why creating art is so satisfying. Yeah, it's an inspiring show, and the way they just dive into each aspect of anime production is really cool. And just seeing how these characters think and process like stuff in everyday life, like how fascinated they are by like the little nuances of movement and things like that. It's really cool. And I'm not even like an animator, but I feel like all my animation friends were like, whoa, this is, I feel seen. Yeah, fantastic. Again, Yuasa basically rarely ever misses. Number 3 is Anohana. I recently rewatched this, and wow, it still hits. First episode, spoiler, is that basically it's about a group of friends who sort of grew apart because when they were kids, one of them passed away in an accident. But then that friend comes back as a ghost that only one of them can see. And it's just about processing grief, and also I love the dynamic of like seeing these kids who were so close as kids, they completely drifted apart for different reasons, and just sort of like rediscovering their friendships. It's a very emotional show. It definitely gets me choked up. And it's funny. I feel like people go, man, the main girl, Menma, so annoying. I don't feel that way. When I watch it, I don't know. I find her very charming. It's a great show. It's got that slice of life I like, but it's also got that, hard-hitting character drama. Really good dialogue. I believe it's Mario Kata. Iconic ending as well. It's so short. It's like 11 episodes or something, and it's just, I just blazed through it. It's so good. Number 2 is Bunny Drop. Bunny Drop is a show about a guy. He discovers he has like basically a relative, like a little girl who was his dad's like secret child through like an affair. And so he decides he's going to raise the girl. And yes, I will say I don't read the manga, and I wouldn't recommend it from what I've heard about it. But the anime itself is wonderful. It's just about being a dad and the challenges of that. It's really sweet. It's the ultimate slice of life thing. And yes, I believe I read an interview where the director was like, yeah, the manga is a different thing. We don't really even think of it as our show is kind of different, or not kind of different, very different. Also, really great animation as well. The main girl is voiced by an actual kid, and I think that lends a lot to the performance. It feels very organic. It feels very real. And I think she does a great job. Very heartwarming show. And finally, number 1, I know this one gets a lot of hype, but Bocchi the Rock. I'm telling you, it's a modern It's a modern masterpiece. Basically about a girl who has a ton of social anxiety, but she loves, playing the guitar. Finds a group of girls who they start a band, and just her coming out of her shell and like just struggling past her anxiety. It's a very funny show. It's extremely funny. The music's so good. It's full of these original songs that they actually released as like an album, and it did really well. But also it has a lot of really sweet character growth, like especially from Bocchi, who, she starts to become more confident, and you see like these really nice moments where the other bandmates like really like connect with her. It's got everything I like. It's slice of life, it's funny, but it still has some nice character moments. It's not just pure fluff, and the music's fucking bangers. Listen, it's worth it. It's worth the watch. It is. I think it absolutely. I don't like to overhype stuff, because then people are like, it's not as good as everybody says. Whatever. Just it's a great show. A lot of people compare it to K-On! I like K-On! A lot too, but I think this show has a little more character stuff, and it's also very. I think the comedy hits me a lot harder. K-On!'s very like sweet fluff, which is fun, but Bocchi I think is a little more my speed, although I think both shows are great. All right, that was 10 anime that are 13 episodes or less. Let me know if you guys have any recommendations for shows that you would recommend that are less than or 13 episodes or less, because honestly, short shows are what will get me to watch stuff. But yeah, otherwise I'll see you in the next one. Peace.